I mean, I think the Blue Jays are the best baseball team in the world right now, in the fucking world.
Well, they're pretty much the best in the American League right now, and
you know what? If you're the best, the Japanese, Japan's become a very, very big competitor in baseball in the last 20 years. Baseball, they call it the game of America. You know, apple pie, the flag, and baseball. I think that right now the Toronto Blue Jays, in my modest opinion, are the best baseball team in the world.
And you know what, talent-wise, I think they're right there. But you know what, Frank, this year, for whatever reason, the National League, especially the National League Central, is very strong. You've got St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Chicago that all have better records.
Yeah, St. Louis always gets close, and they choke.
Who chokes?
St. Louis.
St. Louis? Well, St. Louis has won a couple World Series in recent memory.
So is the Blue Jays. I'm just telling you that the Blue Jays are the best team in the world right now.
Well,
you want to give me a Norm Rumack depressing scenario? You go for it.
No. Frank, I'm not saying. Listen, you're not going to meet a bigger Blue Jay supporter than me, Frank.
But you got to listen to me because I'm a big fan of you, Mr. Cole. Hear me what I'm saying, because sometimes you can hear me, but you're not listening. On paper, on the field, and with facts, the Blue Jays are the best team in the world right now.
Well, okay, and I'm with you, Frank, but not the best team doesn't always win. So I just hope.
Yeah, okay, but I don't give a fuck about that because I ain't going to talk about that. I'll let the facts speak for themselves when that happens. Because if I could read the future, I played a lottery this Friday, and I wouldn't have to speak to you guys next week.
Listen, Frank, no one hopes more than me that it works out.
I picked the Chicago Blackhawks to win the Stanley Cup. I was pretty decent. I beat you on 3 bets. I beat Perry Lefko on a bunch of bets, especially on Babcock being the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he belittled me by telling me that the newspaper reporter in Windsor knew more about sports in his pinky than me. Well, he was wrong.
Well, the guy's name was Bob Duff. He knows a lot about sports.
Well, he was wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think he said...
And Frank, who doesn't know anything about sports, and some people say that our show, we talk 10% sports and 90% about everything else. Maybe, be as that may, the 10% that we talk about sports is meat and potatoes, and we have enough facts to substantiate our little talk. And I'm telling you right now that I think unless something drastic, something happens to Price or Batista, Toronto Blue Jays will win the World Series. There's no better team in the National or the American League.
Well, talent-wise, I think you're right, Frank. The Jays are tied with the Yankees right now. They're going, so that's the thing. I mean, you got a team like Kansas City that Billy mentioned earlier. They've got a 12.5-game lead in their division. So they're not playing any meaningful baseball until the playoffs start. The Blue Jays, every game means something. They've got to find a way to beat out the Yankees. So they're going to be playing meaningful baseball for the next month and a half, and we'll see how that translates into success come on.
Exactly. Now you heard what I said and said what I heard. You're exactly correct.
You know what, Frank? Saying they're the best team in baseball today is not too far wrong.
Thank you.
By the time September comes, may have been very far wrong. But not very far. They just would have slipped maybe. I can't see them missing a playoff spot.
Well, no, they're gonna at worst case scenario they'll be a wild card team, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Blue Jays.
I'm very skeptical about everything that baseball has to offer because I've seen teams fall out of it so quickly. And I'm like you too. You and Frank, I want the Blue Jays to win in the worst way.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
You all do.
You guys are fans. Of course you do. But I'm being realistic here, and you guys listen. You got to listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm not talking out of emotion or out of being a fan, just a reckless fan. I'm telling you, it's a fact. The Blue Jays have the best team in the world on the field right now. It's up to them to lose.
Well, if you look at the stats, they got the best run differential in baseball. They've scored more runs than anyone in baseball. Their pitching's coming together. They've acquired David Price. They've shored up their bullpen. They've shored up things defensively. They've done nothing but good things in the last couple of weeks, and that certainly
That's exactly what I've been trying to tell you from the beginning of the Norm Rumack.
I don't think it's an argument. It's a matter of covering all the bases. If you listen to baseball people, there wouldn't be one that would say the Blue Jays are the best team in baseball. They'd be scared shitless to say it for fear they were right. But there's so many games to play. They're all very cautious. I'm with you, Frank. As we speak today, there's no better team in baseball. That's as far as I can go. I can't call them the greatest team in the world because there might be a better team 2 weeks from now.
Well, and there are teams that have strengths. I mean, you look at the New York Mets right now, and if they're scoring runs, and now you've got Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Harvey with an offense that's scoring runs. That's very dangerous. The Cubs are very dangerous. The Cardinals are dangerous.
Yeah, everybody's dangerous, but the proof is in the pudding. Okay,
yep.
And if they finish first in their division, they win the pennant for themselves in their division, which will be great. And that's at least, it's not the icing on the cake for me. The World Series is the icing on the cake, but they got the cake.